Hello everyone, and welcome to Social Media Marketing on Autopilot with no-code tools. So no-code tools is a new type of technology that is proliferating within the digital space. And what no-code tools allow people to do is to carry out sequences and actions within digital platforms that would usually be coded in Python. But developers have developed tools whereby they can connect APIs, meaning different digital platforms, together to create an ecosystem so a trigger can create an action. I'll discuss in more detail. So by the end of the presentation, I hope that we'll have established some efficiencies in how to create AI automation in the context of social media and digital. Now, models in the world of how AI is changing is all the time. And to create content has become quite easy. And they say that there's more content being created in the last year than in the whole of the internet. And this is because people have started to use AI and automation to create huge volumes of content with ease. And what was once limited to people that could code within machines is now democratized across the internet, which is putting on an emphasis on how we use particular tools and skill sets when creating content. Now, I have held several positions in Walmart, just to give you a bit of background on me, and I now lead a digital agency in Hong Kong, which helps position, launch, and create activations for e-commerce brands. You can see a few of them down here. I first got into digital in a big way when I worked at Oppo, where I led the social media team, and then I went onwards to Alibaba, which got me involved in running media and e-commerce as well. I first gave a presentation about no-code automation tools last year in March for ETAIL, which is a conference that's run in Singapore. And I asked a very simple question to my audience, which at the time was, does anybody know anybody whose job has been replaced by AI? Now, when I asked this question, there was probably one person in a room of about 150 people that raised their hand. I think if I ask that question today, and I'm not sure if you want to respond in the chat or raise a hand in the Zoom, but I'm sure that many more people would say that they know people whose jobs have been replaced by AI. And it's not that the HR department would come to you and say, hey, everyone, we're going to fire your team because we're going to bring AI in. It's because other teams within an organization have become far more efficient. And why is this? This is because they apply AI automation, such as ChatGPT, within their workflows. And therefore, teams which do this are far more efficient than teams that don't. And that has led to corporations, whether it be in San Francisco or even in Beijing, laying off workforce because they don't need so many people to carry out so many operations. Now, when it comes to streamlining workflows and processes, I like to use this model, which is usually in AI automation, there is a trigger point. The content will be created. It can then be transformed into a series of different styles of content and then distributed across various channels. We're going to look into this process in a bit more detail in the second half of the presentation. But in the first half of the presentation, I want to have a quick recap on how far we've come effectively in 1 year since I first gave this presentation. So a bit of background. AI is a field of computer science that aims to create intelligent machines capable of performing complex tasks that typically require human intelligence. Automation involves using technology to perform a series of tasks without human intervention. It operates according to predefined instructions and workflows. So now we've got machines that are capable of performing complex tasks and technology that can do this without human intervention. What are the benefits? Well, time saving, cost saving, and accuracy. Though I think the last statement there, accuracy, is debatable, though it will continue to improve over time. And we're seeing this reflected in the outputs. So in 2023, in March, this was effectively some outputs that came from DALI, not Mid-Journey, but DALL-E. And this is 2024 Mid-Journey. And in the space of 1 year, we've gone from something that's interesting but quite standard to something that could be photorealistic. And we've all also seen probably Sora video AI that's coming out in force as well. And why is this? This is because the capacity of supercomputers over time, which run AI, the GPUs, is increasing. So the sophistication of the algorithms that run and manage AI, the neural nets, is actually become far more complicated, but we can run more complicated programs. So the AI is actually developing to be able to run more sophisticated tasks at a higher frequency and volume. Now, in 2023, most of the tools that I showed people were text-based tools. In 2024, ChatGPT can effectively do all of those. So ChatGPT can now analyze data, it can create strategies, it can do blog writing, it can answer questions, it can do research, it can even create images, it can do everything. So I've made a little summary of different kinds of tools that people can use. So if you want a screenshot, here's a good opportunity to do so. But there's different kinds of tools here for different kinds of applications that all leverage AI, regardless of whether it's market research, whether it's social media marketing, customer relationship management tools, creative and insight. All of these now have AI applications that are inbuilt into their programs. Prompting is a new skill. So everybody is talking about prompting, but what I'd like to highlight here is there's two different formats of prompting. In the first format, you might say, I want a hot dog, which could produce either of these two results. But if you add a negative prompt, so that's a positive prompt plus a negative prompt, which would sound like, I want a hot dog that is not an animal, then you would get this image on the right. And that's a use case for using a positive and a negative prompt, which is very important as a skill to learn because it will affect your AI automations. So just moving into the second part of this presentation, which is actually what we're going to focus on today, which is the AI automation no code. So there's two big players on the market at the moment, in my opinion anyway, which is Zapier and Make.com. Now, Zapier, I would recommend for people that just want to play around, that have never really used these kind of tools, that probably already use digital platforms such as Google, Facebook, Instagram. You can use all of those aforementioned social media platforms or email marketing platforms with Zapier, as well as Make.com. The advantages to using Zapier are that it's easy to use. There's loads of templates that come as standard, but the downside is it's quite expensive. It's also not very flexible, which is where Make.com comes in, because Make.com is free to use for a basic user. It's incredibly flexible, but it is not so easier to use. So this is more of a sophisticated platform, but it is this platform that I'm going to show you how to create some no-code automations on today. So just to go back into the automation AI situation that we discussed earlier, the automation is the repeated task. So this could be things like content scheduling, responding to emails, or taking data out of data sets. AI content creation could be part of the research, so developing research formats, copywriting, analysis, or image production. Now, if you put these together, we can create blogs, we can post content, we can do competitive research, evaluation, and even sentiment analysis now by feeding the right kinds of prompts into ChatGPT. So some use cases for AI automation that correspond to the table that I showed you earlier, regardless of whether you use these products in that table or not, you can do these with no-code tools, which is automated content management, CRM, e-commerce, human resource management, marketing campaign, data collection, project management, event management, financial management. We're going to focus on more of the digital aspect today. So I'll just show you what a simple sequence would look like in a moment. But when you create the right flow, you need to be aware that the flow has a certain staging process, which is researching, creating, the reviewing, and the distribution. The reviewing here I haven't highlighted by blue because this is something that I think really at the moment needs human intervention. So though it's possible to share content straight onto LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram without any human intervention, in fact the AI can take information from researching it, create content and distribute it onto the platforms without human intervention. At the moment, unless you're very, very good at prompting, I wouldn't recommend it. So let's look at some simple flows. So here I've built a bot. This is a bot on make.com. And in a moment, I'll go into the back end of make.com and show you some bots that I've created and how to create these automations so that you can do it for your own causes. But what this bot is effectively doing is scraping information from an RSS feed and then compiling that into a Google Sheet. Now, the application for scraping data could be to seek content ideas. It could be to stay on trend, so to research a particular topic. And indeed, what this data here is displaying is some work that I was doing for a client called Angry Meow. They're a keyboard brand based in Zhuhai in China. And I was looking at different types of topics and scraping information from Reddit as well as different web sources to create this list to see what people are talking about on the internet so that we can find new content ideas for the social media as well as stay on trend for people within the keyboard market. Before, I used to actually allow ChatGPT, OpenAI in this case, to talk on behalf of me on Twitter. So again, the application here is streamlining content output and scaling content volume, which is something that I think is very important in social media marketing in 2024. There is an emphasis again on the volume of content that people can create. And that is because people are utilizing AI automation to create loads and loads and loads of content. So you need to create more volumes of content to stand out in 2024. So these are a few examples of some tweets that OpenAI scraped from an RSS feed and then published onto my Twitter on behalf of me. And you can see here it's doing 3 a day or 2 a day its output. Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then share my screen again in a moment. And I'm going to show you how to create one of these bots with a few examples. So instead of just telling you that the content, I'm actually going to show you now how you can create a bot on make.com that could effectively manage your community. You could create novel activations or streamline FAQ or customer service. Here is an example. So Live and Breathe Social is the handle for my Instagram, and obviously I am Jake. So you can see here, I've written hello, and the bot, without my intervention, just programmed in this method, has replied, how may we assist you today? And I wrote something obscure. I wrote, you tell me. And then it said, of course, how can we assist you today? And I said, what services do you provide? And this triggered the bot to list the services that the agency that I run provided. So I'm going to show you how that actually works. So bear with me one moment. I'm just going to share my screen. Actually, let me share it like this. Okay. So if I just go into here, you can see there's a simple version of this set up. And this is how I've created this bot. So let's just use this as an example here. You can see this is where we had got to. It listed the services. My bot, I asked, is there any case studies? And it said, yes, there is case studies, 2 that might have particular interest to you. Sparluxatique and Angry Meow have seen significant growth through our integrative digital strategies. And then it also provides a URL. So let's look at how I set that up so that it could do this. So on this, I have Instagram here watching for the event. So what I've done is I've plugged in the Instagram through a webhook here. So I've added Instagram to the events. And then once it triggers, once the comment comes in here, it will trigger the event. You can actually go onto the Instagram handle and try this now if you want. And then it will trigger this and it will run an OpenAI program. So I have an OpenAI module here. So just to give you some detail around this, here I've said role as the system of OpenAI. You are the admin of Live and Breathe Hong Kong, a digital media agency specializing in brand building on social media. And then I've listed some key facts about Live and Breathe, such as what we do, as well as some case study information, who it targeted, some URLs into here, okay? You can see there's a lot more information than what's in the respond. And then I've told it responding to the comment that comes in here. I can see that people are probably running this automation now. And then message 2 is the user. So the user is the action to which is the response going to be published. So it says respond to the comment on behalf of the digital media agency, which in this case here, contextualized in the system comment, would be Live and Breathe. And then I've also asked it, do not respond to any contents that contain negative or harmful language, so that if people swear and want to say obscene things, then the bot won't react or respond to it. And it only is going to use facts and case studies when it's necessary. Otherwise, it's going to keep the answers very short and simple. And in this way, we can keep it on track, so that it won't start spitting out the same information over and over and over again, and it starts to create a tailored message to every message that comes in. And then once it's done that, it will then post the reply on Instagram. Now here, I've actually set a filter. So I've told it not to reply to itself, because if you comment here, let's say that I've commented, and then the Instagram bot that I've created has replied, then it will reply to itself repeatedly. So I have to set up a self-comment filter on the condition that the comment has not come from Live and Breathe Social, so that it doesn't create a feedback loop where it consistently spams itself. Otherwise, it will talk to itself for forever. Okay, so I hope that gave you some context to how to create that bot. So I'm just going to jump back into the presentation now. And you can see here, I've created a different bot. Now, this bot has 2 flows. This bot is designed to create blog posts to a new project that I've got coming up called Fizzy. And it can also post it onto my LinkedIn feed, but for the sake of this demo and this webinar, I've actually left it disconnected. Otherwise, it'll just be publishing content to my LinkedIn without my review. I also have set the settings in Wordpress so that it doesn't automatically publish onto the site, because I like to review the content before it goes live. In the second example flow, we're not using an RSS feed, we're using a bot, an actual bot that will sit on people's web pages, and when the web page is updated, it will scrape the information and compile it. So you can actually see that these bots are a little bit more sophisticated than the Instagram bot. So every time one of these OpenAI modules here is used, it needs a fair degree of prompting. So you must use negative and positive prompts, just like in the example with the Instagram. Respond to this, don't respond to any negative or harmful comments. And that's really a case of using those kind of prompts. So if I just leave this presentation now, I'm going to quickly show you how this workflow for the bot creator, the blog creator works, and then we can understand how we can use and utilize AI to automate all of our copywriting for our blogs. So just going back into make.com, pardon me. So I've got some scenarios here that I've set up in this platform. You can go onto this platform after this webinar and set these up for yourself. Bear with me, it seems to be running a little slow. Okay, let's go into the scenarios here. So in my demo scenarios that I've got, here's the RSS, WordPress, LinkedIn blogger, and I can click on this here. Now I'm going to show you how to set it up, and then I'll show you what the outputs look like. So the way that I've set this one up, just in a basic format, nothing too complicated, is it watches an RSS feed. I'm not entirely sure which one I've put in here. Okay, I've put the social media examiner because Fizzy.io is a social media tool that I am building. So it'll feed the information such as what it has read, so which post that it read on the RSS feed into OpenAI. So let me quickly show you what that looks like. You can see here, we've got all the items from the RSS, and what this is reading is it's reading the title. So you can see this title here is about product marketing. And the prompt is the message again. We've got the system and the user set up after plugging in the OpenAI tool. And we said, you are an editor of a blog specializing in marketing. You're scanning for information that as you use, that's published on a rival blog, okay? And then as the user, using your technical expertise and strong marketing knowledge, please write a blog post based on the content, okay? So this is going to write a blog post. In here, because we're going to need it later, it's going to read the content that was created in this blog here, which in this example, we have, it's got a title, developing a champion product marketing or something to this extent. We'll see in a minute. And then it says, create a short, catchy typo there, based on the content. But it's not to worry, ChatGPT is very sophisticated. It will pick that up. Then it will create a Google Doc, which it will then publish into a Google Drive that I have set up here. So you can see here, this kind of content has been running for a while, probably created well over 1,000 blogs for me in the past, all of which I'd say are fairly strong, good quality. And then it will publish this to my WordPress, which is set up here. From my WordPress, it will then read the blog on the WordPress, and then it will publish it into a Google Sheet or into my LinkedIn. So you can see here, set up earlier. I might actually just run this one in a moment so that you can see. Okay, yeah, let's see if this is this one connected to Fizzy? Yeah, let's run it and see if anything happens. Okay, so, see, it's already, this one's run today, and it's run all of this content. So I have to specify to, let's see if it can start. Let's try again, see if it works. Okay, you can see it's scraping information. It's then turning it into a blog. Yeah, might take a little while. Let's have a look. Okay, and then with any luck, should publish in here. Okay, there we go. So this one here is 10x your content strategy. So I can click in here and see the blog that is published, and then I'll check that and see if it's also uploaded to my WordPress. Let's have a look and see if it's uploaded to the WordPress over here. Okay, there it is, you see. Now, I haven't got this to publish, but I could very easily publish it. And the reason is there's always a few things that need check-in. So you can see here, content. We can set parameters to adjust it. We could probably set parameters as well to make this a bit more interesting. But this is where I think it's very important for a human to come in and review it. But effectively, I could just publish this onto the website and it would work. And it would also then publish this blog onto my LinkedIn. But today I haven't set that up because I don't want it to publish content onto my LinkedIn that's not finalized. There's still some parameters that would need to be tested with this one. So I'm going to stop this now and I'll jump back into the presentation quickly. Okay, so a competitor research demo. So I think this is also another one that people will find fairly interesting, and one of the final ones that I'll give today. I've got one more after this to show you, and that is how do we do competitor analysis with ChatGPT and executing these no-code tools. So what I've done in this sheet here is I've set up a list of competitors. So I've got Angry Birds, Angry Meow, my Live and Breathe agency, and Temu as the competitors. And when I run the automation, it will scrape information from the Instagram of each of these competitors and publish it into this list. So you can see here now it's probably, is it running the Temu one? Yeah, there we go, you see. So we can list as many competitors as we like here, as long as they're the Instagram handles, and this bot will scrape all the information from the competitors' websites into this format here so that we can start to database all of the competitors within our industry. And then the final bot I will show you, and the last one before we start to wrap up the presentation and go into Q&A, is this video transcript bot here. So let me just quickly show you what this does. So you could have Zoom meetings in any language. Could be Chinese. You might have colleagues that can't speak Chinese and they'll need to know what's said in the meeting to stay on track with the launch campaigns or the product marketing campaign. But still, we want to be able to know what was said in the meeting. So what this bot here will do is it will take an audio or video file from Google Drive, in this case, though it could be done with other tools such as Dropbox or other storage tools, upload this into a ChatGPT tool called Whisper, which will decode the audio into text and then feed this into another module, turn it into an audio file, and then create a summary, an audio recording. So perhaps if your CEO was too busy to attend the meeting, he could listen to it on his car audio system on the way to work, and also a summary of what was said in the video. So I've prepared a little demo for this one as well, pardon me, which I would like to show you now. Just here, so if my Zoom recording was to go in here, I have my test video, which I will drop into this file here. And then I'll just go onto the scenarios, the demo scenarios that I've created, and then zoom to voice summary. And then I can run this as a script here, and it will run. You can see, feeds it into Google Drive, then into Whisper, where it will decode the audio of this video, summarize this, and then using this feature from a tool called 11 Labs, it will change the audio, the text of this summary into an audio file, and then upload this into a Google Drive document here. So you can see here, this is the test video and the outputs are created here. So this is actually an MP3 recording of the summary that was translated. So you could actually listen to what it says. It's kind of a little slow here, but the summary is here. Let's have a go. You can see here. So it talks about starting at the age of 5, it was tough to go to school. So if we just jump back in here, you can see the test video. It's a little slow when we're on Zoom, I do apologize. Pardon me, maybe it's not loading. I'll share this link with the group actually, and then you can check and listen for it on yourselves. Just share that into the chat. And then you can see the test video as well as the outputs that were created from this audio test. So these are the automations that I'll cover today. I wanted to give you a quick insight into how you could effectively use these no-code tools to your advantage. There are some key takeaways that I'd like people to consider and think about when working with these no-code automation tools. Because generative AI is revolutionizing the content space. As I've alluded to a couple of times in this webinar, there's a massive amount of content that's being created by AI, more content created by AI in the last year than in the lifetime of the internet is a great statistic that generally sums it up. AI, it just excels at creating a lot of content. I do think that prompts are the key to creating quality content because it enables you to really set parameters around the level and the quality of the content that you do. Human creativity, it still remains irreplaceable. There's nuanced understanding. I think that a lot of people, when they are utilizing ChatGPT for their social media copies or their blog writing, everybody who's a native English speaker at least can generally tell if it's been copied and pasted from ChatGPT. And Google as well penalizes SEO blog articles that have been written by AI and ChatGPT for the reason that there's so much content out there. So I still think having a human review element is incredibly important, and it doesn't undermine the importance of using a human if you're using AI in your workflows. A hybrid approach, again, using AI and humans together, I think is the optimal format. And we can see this again reflected in job titles. Before you might have marketing lead and sales lead, and today it would be considered a growth lead position in a lot of companies where it's combined sales and marketing because we can create a lot of efficiencies through AI and automation. And then as well, I think that the way that humans use AI is very important. I don't think AI can replace human creativity, but I think we need to be the masters of utilizing AI in a creative way. I think that would be my statement to end this webinar on. But for now, I want to just quickly slide into these Q&As that we've got going, and maybe I can answer some of these questions. Okay, so we have Billy. Billy asks, no-code marketing, what does it mean? Well, I hope that we've covered some of the what does the no-code marketing mean in this presentation, but effectively it means that in the modern day there are tools that exist on the internet that can replace people that could initially code in Python, because somebody that has coded a certain set of sequences in Python to utilize different data sources from different platforms so that you can create sequences together to automate processes utilizing AI. Okay, the next question is, can you write AI KOL handles? So I assume this is for the competitor analysis. Yeah, it is. Okay, so yes, you can write the handles of people. The one caveat that I'll throw in is that the profile should be public, otherwise the bot might struggle to scrape it. So it can only scrape from public profiles. So if somebody has a private profile or isn't sharing their profile to the world through Instagram, then the Instagram module will not be able to scrape it. And then finally, is it possible to share your presentation? It will be possible, and I will share this presentation. So I'm very glad to the person, Sandra, who's asked that question. I will share this presentation. You'll receive an email in a couple of days with a bit more information and instructions. And as well as that, I'm actually going to share one of the automations to you as well. So that I'll give you an automation so that you can set off on your no-code automation journey with ease and perhaps with a bit more context. And then you could always check back this webinar, which I'll also make available to people so that they can understand how to set up these AI automations in their own workflows. I'd like to say thank you. I'm going to end the webinar now. I hope people derived a lot of value from it. Please do feel free to email me. This is my personal email as well, or contact me on WeChat and give me any kind of feedback, because I'd always love to improve the quality of the webinar. And we have another one this time next week about how to scale social media. And some of that presentation next week will also cover topics regarding AI and automations and how to create efficiencies. Just a little spoiler, before in the past, I would have set up teams with a lot more people, but given the presentation that we've had today and the change of the ecosystem, my philosophies have changed. And I think that people need to leverage more tools to set up social media teams to reduce the amount of headcount they have to run social media teams, even at scale, global scales of 50 markets and plus. But thank you, everybody. I hope to see you next week. I hope you've derived a lot of information. Please do feel free to follow up with questions. I've enjoyed giving this webinar, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.